In today's lesson, we're going to do an overview of the WEBKIT editor. When you create a new page, or you go into an existing page, you're going to want to click the Open WEBKIT's Editor button to launch it. This will launch a visual drag and drop interface over top of WordPress that allows you to lay out and manage your content easier. On the left-hand side are the various different widgets and elements that you can add to your page. On the right-hand top side, we have our Publish, Save, Preview, and Close buttons. And in the center here, we have a number of different layouts that you can choose from, as well as our listings template layout for people who are adding listings manually. We'll cover this in a separate tutorial. So to begin, on the left-hand side, we have our text options. So we have a regular title, which allows us to type directly on the screen. We have a standard paragraph text. And then we have a WordPress text. Now I prefer the WordPress text editor because it gives me all the controls that I might need in one interface. I can add media, add forms, style, layout, link, everything very easily and very quickly right within one widget. To delete a widget, you simply make sure it's selected by clicking on it once and then hitting the X up here. We have quotes, which allow you to quickly add the person's name, maybe a URL to their website or email, and then their quote. Members content is a password protected content, so a user needs to be logged into your website in order to see that content. Lists allow you to quickly and easily add bullet lists and style them with some limited number of icons, as well as this. So you can make a bullet and add a camera beside every one if you'd like to in your list here. Delete that. And a standard icon. I'm going to add an icon here quickly. Maybe change it to a nice red color. And then I'm going to adjust the column width that it automatically put in. Anytime you add a widget to our visual editor, it will automatically reassign the standard width to each column. To adjust this, there's a dotted line between the columns, which when you mouse over will go solid, and allow you to drag the column widths. So if I had a third one in here, maybe another title one to the side here, you'll see it's going to allow me to adjust each of those column widths independently. When I delete it, it'll automatically reset it back. So let's do something like that. In the second icons here, we have our various images. So we have a standard image, a slideshow slider, a grid gallery, and then our advanced slider, which we actually set the options in another section, which we'll cover in another tutorial. So I'm going to add a standard image here. Choose something nice and big. And you'll see that it can now fill the whole page. Underneath, we're going to add a slider. And I'm going to choose maybe 3 different pictures. Hit set image. This picture is pretty small, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to close this. Actually just going to scale this down to a nice small slider on the side here. You have options to change the size or resolution of your images that are loaded in, if you would prefer it to slide or fade, how many seconds, and the animation speed that it travels between the different slides. To reset the order or add more pictures, you can check Organize Images, select additional pictures that you may want to add in, and down at the bottom here, it'll show you what images have been selected. And if you choose Edit Selection, it'll let you to drag and drop the order of those images of how they're going to appear on the slideshow. And you'll see the first image comes up here. The next one is the grid gallery. So I'm going to drag this just to the side here. And again, I'm going to choose maybe 6 photos, set images, and you'll see that the images have been brought in. Now they're various widths and sizes, so they are overlapping a bit. So you could change this and set it to, say, 150 by 150, maybe smaller. Not gonna let me do that. 1 second. Drag this down here. Change the row count to 3 and adjust from there. I'm going to do a separate tutorial on this particular one just to go through all of these different settings and styles that are associated with the gallery, just because there is a lot of layout options that you can do for it. And delete that for now, and once again resize the slider down. Next buttons or next icons on the side here are your different button groups. So you have your standard button, which allows you to change the text that's on the button. So click me. You have your link, as well as you can click and link to any pages directly on your site. You can open in a new tab if you're linking to something external, say something like, I don't know, cbc.ca, open in a new link. You can add an icon directly to it if you'd like. Icon alignment, left or right. Stretch allows it to stretch directly across the width that's there, so as I scale the column, the width will automatically update. And then you have some style presets. So by default, it's a button that's a silver color, text is in the middle, rounded edges, and a small indent icon. By clicking on the little box here, you can preview all of the different preset styles that are available. So we can make it mini or large, the indent can be adjusted, colors can be adjusted, and so on. The next button in the button group here is a group of buttons. So I'll drag this down here. And you'll see that it's added some options at the top here, which allow you to drag and drop the order. And if you click on them, you can change. So I'm going to make this button 1. You can add a link, open, what color you'd like it to be, close up the accordion. Second, button 2, same thing. How would you like the buttons to be displayed, side by side or on top of each other? As well as indent button size, left and right, and icon indents. Third one here is a download button. This comes in handy for adding feature sheets or other documents that you want to be immediately downloaded when a user clicks the button. The reason I would use this particular button rather than a standard button is simply because it gives you the media file option up here. So by clicking the media file option, it'll take you to the media library, which will allow you to upload and select your PDF document and upload it directly to the media library and apply a link to this button. It's a lot faster and a lot less steps to do it with this particular button than it is to do it with the regular button, which you would have to go and copy and paste the link, or copy the link and paste it back in here. The rest of the buttons are social sharing buttons. One set is for linking to your particular Facebook or Twitter. The other one, in this case, this one here, will allow people to share this page to their own. So that's the difference between the two. I'll just drag them here and you'll see when I select on this one, there's only very minimum options because it's automatically set to take the information from this page and send it to the user's Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Pinterest pages. The second one here allows you to put in your own Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and so on, so that when they click on it, it'll take them to your page. I'm just going to delete those. and continue on the left-hand side here. The video icon allows you to quickly add a YouTube link. So I'm going to just flip screens here, go to YouTube, Royal LePage 100 video. Here it is. I'm just going to copy the address that's there, close that tab, and drag the video into the spot here and paste in that link there. And you'll see you automatically can see a live preview of the video right on your page. And again, it'll automatically resize and adjust depending on your column width. Audio, it allows you to upload an MP3 file. Not really handy in most cases. And the last one here that we're going to cover, because this one here is just a standard WordPress widgets, this one here has a lot of options in it. PostGrid allows you to lay out different post types. So for instance, it's automatically bringing in the blog. I could bring in manual listings, property listings. I could display just certain ones. So for instance, only sold properties. I could change how many come in, what the column count is, how the picture is done. So I can quickly have one picture on the left-hand side, then have the title at the top. I can turn off the picture if I don't want it. Adjust the size of the title, show date, comments, how much text will display, and so on and so on. So lots of options for laying out different types of post types. Like that. A service box is more of a call to action type of box, allowing you an icon, your main call to action title, description, and a button. This could be an email me button, or a contact me, or a visit a certain property. It's completely up to you what you'd like to use this particular box for. Over here we have tabs. So for instance, I could take no, it's not going to work, sorry. Just delete that. So in the tabs, you have your different tabs here that you can add your content to. So you have the title of the tab, then you have your tab content, or you can open up the WordPress editor and have more advanced content, as well as being able to add pictures, resize them by clicking the handles on the left, assign them to the left, add some text in beside it. If you don't like the layout, you can then drag the picture even a little bit more. We're going to cover more of the content layout tips and tricks in another tutorial. Save. So to continue adding tabs, it works on the same accordion basis here as we've seen in other widgets, where you can just continue to add more tabs, and it will in real time add them down here for you to see. Spacing between the tabs, you can have vertical tabs down the side, as well as automatically rotate between the different tabs to catch people's attention. Make it into a slideshow of sorts. Delete that, and next we have accordions. Accordions are another great way when you have a lot of information on a page to be able to put it in a very small area. So for instance, like this, preview here, and then when you click on the plus symbol, it'll open it up and reveal the content that you've put underneath. Next we have tables. Now the tables are a comma separated value tables. If you're not familiar with those, it's a standard kind of spreadsheet format. Excel, a number of other standard ones will display there or export the content of their spreadsheets in a comma separated value. But basically what it means is a comma will every time there's a comma, it will create a new cell. So if I want to change year to say room level and dimensions, when I click off, you'll see it automatically will update here. So I could change this to let's do bedroom, first floor, and make it 11 by 14. Click off and it will automatically update. Now if you're dealing with prices, especially with large prices like 1,000, which requires a comma, you'll see that when I click here, it's going to add an extra cell here because of this comma. It's thinking that 100 should go in this cell, and then another cell should be created to put the rest, which of course isn't correct. So by adding a simple quotes around that particular chunk of data, when you click off, it'll automatically realize that that comma is supposed to be encompassed inside of these quotes, and will display it properly. Next thing on the list is post slider, which is very similar to post grid, but instead of having it wrap down the entire page, it'll put it in one simple little box, and then each post will one at a time slide by. Call to action button. Click on that. You'll see you have, I'm going to move it actually down below so we can see the whole thing. You have a much more predominant button, text, icon, and colored background that you can style with all the options here. 3D, flat, you can change the color to whatever you'd like. Model. This is a little bit interesting. This allows a pop-up to be displayed. So I'm going to just do a preview here. And I'm going to click on Open Model Box. And you'll see that the content that you put in the model will show up, dull out the rest of the screen, and give a nice big X on the right here. So that could be really handy for putting in additional contact form or embedding a PDF. Rather than people downloading it, they can just pop it open and look at it. Video could be put in there, a YouTube video, and when it pops up, the YouTube video starts playing. There's a lot of different reasons that you can do it. I use it in our templates a lot of times for the mortgage calculator. We'll rename the button mortgage calculator. When it pops up, you'll have the mortgage calculator right here that people can fill it in, do what they'd like, and then click off to close it. Okay, back to here again. We have a splash screen. Splash screen allows you to set a number of content, or set content that will automatically kind of pop up or splash onto the screen without any type of user interaction. So they don't have to click on anything. So when they come on your page, it'll automatically pop up on them. You want to use that sparingly because it technically is a pop-up and can kind of annoy people very quickly. And you'll see here that after a certain moment, it's popped in on me automatically. I'm just going to close that. I'm going to refresh the page so you can see it again. And it pops in without me doing anything. And now I have to close it. And I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete our box. And I'm going to delete the call to action. Just give me a little bit more room here to lay some stuff out for you. Space. Space is really handy for just adding space into things. So for instance, I can add a spacer here, and I could quickly say add 50 pixels of margin or additional stuff, or I could click and drag it. So it just allows me control to be able to very precisely enhance my layouts. So I can add it here, I could add it underneath, anywhere I'd like to just give a little bit more space. I can also embed pictures, background pictures, and other elements using the space tool as well. But essentially, it's there to just give you control over the amount of space between different elements. I'll use this quite often. For instance, if I want to center this stuff here right in the middle, or just slightly offside. So for instance, I'll put one space there, I'll grab another one here and I'll throw it on this side. And then I can adjust my column width to get this center column exactly how I'd like it. And if I click preview, you'll see that it's lined up nicely in the middle and the space is just invisible. Okay, Google Maps. We have a Google Maps and a Google Maps Pro. They're essentially the same thing, except Google Maps Pro gives you a few extra options, including styling. So for instance, a number of different looks and styles. I like using the subtle gray scale, as well as road maps, and just the ability to zoom in and stuff like that. Whereas if I delete this and put in the regular Google Map, you'll see you really only have two options: the address and the zoom value, and that's it. So adding maps to your listing or to your pages using the Google Maps Pro will give you a lot more options. The rest of the other three that are left here, countdown, timer, chart, and embed, really aren't used all that often. They're there. Certain customers need them, but on a mass majority, you don't really need a countdown timer. You don't really need bar graphs. And the embed code is really when you need to put in very custom scripts or programming languages into a page in order to perform something that's a little bit different. And our last one here, I'll just cover in the WordPress ones, is the widgets area. The widgets area allows us to pull in predefined widgets that I've created. So for instance, we have one for the logo, one for the contact information, and one for just social buttons off to the right. So on a lot of the different sites, for instance this one here, I have them pre-done up here, as well as we have the contact information and the logo in the footer. And that's how those are controlled. So if you want to add them into your site, you want to add the logo, and then we're just going to say duplicate that, drag it underneath, and change it to the contact information. You'll see that's how I've created on the main page of all of our sites this area here. So that's it. This is a bit of a lengthy tutorial, but it does cover all of the different widgets or elements that are available in our WebKits editor. And you can see how you can very quickly, I'm going to just delete all the stuff on the page here. You can very quickly go in and create a very nice looking page without a lot of effort. So title, some paragraph text over here. I'm just going to throw that there. Put in a picture. Just underneath, maybe a little bit bigger. And maybe a gallery here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures. Like that. And a YouTube video. And you can very quickly begin to lay out stuff. And then I'm just going to add that nice spacer in between the two. A little extra there, just so they're not touching each other. Okay, stay tuned for more tutorials about the WebKits editor, where we get into certain elements in depth, as well as there's a big upgrade coming in the near future that's going to offer some more additional elements, as well as more options on some of the current ones. And I'll do a separate tutorial that covers those enhancements as soon as it's released. Thank you.